Everything is about to change for the Avs as they head into this coming season with a very different roster compared to the players that they had last season. And the question is raised as to whether or not they're going to be able to continue to succeed at the rate that they have played in the past few years, if they're going to be able to play better, or if we're going to see a significant drop off with the current roster that the Avs have heading into this coming NHL season. And we are going to break down all the pieces of this roster. We're going to go top to bottom, forwards, defense, goalies. We're going to break down everything today and really dive in to how this Colorado Avalanche roster is shaping up comparatively as we head into the 2025-26 NHL season, which is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Robinson. This is Avalanche Digest. So happy to be with you guys today. Excited to break down everything surrounding the Avs and their current roster, their current lines, what we think the lines are going to be for Coach Bednar on day one of the season against the LA Kings in just a few months here. First day of the season in early October. It's mid-August. We are getting closer and closer to having hockey back, and boy, am I excited. Before we dive into everything surrounding the Avs roster today, just a quick reminder, please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. 79% of our viewers here at Avs Digest are not subscribed, compared to only 21% of you guys that are subscribed to the channel and watching our videos on a daily basis. We're at 955 subscribers. This channel is still new. We're still growing. We are the newest and fastest up and coming source for Colorado Avalanche news. So join the Avs Digest family. Help us hit that 1,000 subscriber milestone. Please give us that subscription. Thank you guys all, as usual, so much for the support. We appreciate it more than you know. So without further ado, let's dive into everything around the Avs roster. We're going to talk forward lines. We're going to talk D pairings. We're going to talk power play units. We're going to talk cap space and how much some of these guys are making compared to what we're hoping to see them do as far as production comes. We're going to do that all right here today on Avs Digest. So all Avs fans, I think that this X take does a really good job talking about kind of where Colorado is. They have a star-studded top line. Their top six is remarkable. It is a force to be reckoned with. It is very strong. It has a ton of variability as far as skill goes for a top six. And our defense is really strong as well. We have what I would think is the best defensive pairing in the league, Cale Makar and Devon Toews. And then you obviously have a guy like Landeskog, who is hoping to have a really good first full year back. We're keeping our fingers crossed. We're knocking on wood that he's going to stay away from, any re-injury to his knee or his ligaments or anything that he had going on, and he's going to stay healthy. And even more so than staying healthy, he's going to produce at a very high level. But the bottom six, that's where things are lacking. That's where I personally have a lot of concern for Colorado. And I know that I'm not alone. I've seen a lot of people that work for the Avs, that do other sort of podcasting and other sort of coverage on the Avalanche, address the exact same concerns surrounding that bottom six. And if they are going to be able to live up to what the Avs are trying to do, what their goal is, because with the top six that we have, we are going to be a force to be reckoned with. With our defensive pairings, especially that top pairing, we are going to be a hard team to beat. With our goaltending this year, we are going to be hard to score on. But can the bottom six live up to all the skill that we have on the top half of our roster? That's the biggest question as we're going to dive into today. Let's take a quick look first at the forward pairings. Let's just really quickly breeze over this top six because, like I said, this is what I'm most excited for. It is going to be a extremely high-talented, high-caliber, efficient, and productive high top six line. We have Artturi Lehkonen, Nathan MacKinnon, and Marty Necas on the top line. Artturi Lehkonen, obviously, he's going to get a lot more opportunity to have that breakout season, especially considering Rantanen is gone now. So that kind of meshed up that top line in what I think is hopefully going to be a positive way. Lehkonen now on the left wing, MacKinnon in center, and then Necas over on the right side. I think that these three operating on that top line is going to be very strong for production. Obviously, we know Nathan MacKinnon, he's a candidate for MVP every season. He's an extremely strong player. He's going to continue to produce regardless of who he's playing with. Marty Necas, fast skater, very strong shot, very strong in the offensive zone. We saw him essentially have point per game production from the time that he was traded to the Avs all the way up until the end of the regular season. And then, of course, like I said, Artturi Lehkonen, looking to have that breakout season. He's a very strong scorer. He does so well in front of the net, right out in front, at the point as well. He is such an efficient player, and I think that this could be the year that playing at that top line, really getting that experience alongside elite players like MacKinnon and Necas, that we're going to see him really play up to his potential with the Avs. And then you have that second line, Landy, Nelson, and Nichushkin. Obviously, I think that Gabriel Landeskog is going to have a really strong season. I'm really excited about what he's going to be able to do and what his production is going to be as far as coming back, playing for a full season goes. Brock Nelson, that was an interesting story in the offseason. We didn't think that he was going to re-sign with Colorado. We thought that we kind of had gotten snubbed with the whole Cal Ritchie trade, getting rid of that really strong prospect and sending him away to the Islanders in exchange for a veteran 2C like Brock Nelson. But he decides to sign a deal. He decides to stick around. And, we saw some elite play from him in the offseason. The only main highlight that I think of is just that beautiful backhand assist to Landeskog, who scored that first NHL goal in over 1,000 games. That was probably the coolest moment of the entire postseason as far as the Avs for me. And then on the right wing, Val Nichushkin, massive, weight-heavy body who has a ridiculously strong shot, but he's hitting people. He is strong defensively on checks as well. He's a really big addition. That top six, like I said, force to be reckoned with. And then you look at the bottom six. Let's start with that third line. Daniil Gushkin, the guy who came from the San Jose Sharks, on the left. Jack Drury in the middle, and Ross Colton over on the right. Ross Colton, absolutely love the guy. He's a really strong hockey player. Won a cup with the Lightning, has a lot of experience, just a great guy to have on your roster. The thing that concerns me with him is injury. He's been very on and off as far as his availability to play. He's had some lower body groin problems. He's been in and out. We didn't have him for the entire series against Dallas, and he could have been a difference maker. So with the bottom six, he's obviously, for me personally, he's one of the people that I'm classifying as like one of the best on the bottom six, but it's just the question of whether or not he can stay healthy and play a full season and produce, because he had an extremely strong start to the season last year. I think he was like leading the Avs in goals for the first few weeks of the season, but then he got injured. And then he was not on the ice, not producing with those bottom six players. And so the biggest thing with Ross Colton is staying healthy. Jack Drury, of course, wanting to see him do well at that 3C spot. Need to see a little bit more production out of him. Daniil Gushkin, who came from the San Jose Sharks. He's at that league minimum $775,000 1-year deal. We'll see what he can do production-wise. And then that bottom line, the fourth line of the bottom six, Ivan in the middle, Ivan on the left, Parker Kelly in the middle, and Yoel Kiviranta on the right. Yoel Kiviranta, of course, just recently signing that 1-year, $1 million deal with the Avs. Kiviranta, he's got a big question mark on this roster for me. He had a great season last year. He played really well, and he was able to produce a lot higher of a goal scoring mark than he usually does. I think he was somewhere in like the 14 goal realm. I remember specifically throughout the season, this is like a really niche memory, but it's just something that I remember because I was there. I was at Ball Arena watching this game. It was a game against the Seattle Kraken, and Yoel Kiviranta had a hat trick, which is a hard feat to achieve in the NHL. And everybody knows that, it doesn't just come easy. You have to score 3 goals in one game, and it's very tough. And for him to be able to do that, it shows potential that he's going to be able to produce, that he's going to be able to have a really strong season, and that potentially he's just continuing on that upward slope of trying to get to his breakout potential. But the question mark is a guy like Yoel Kiviranta, he doesn't have consistency attached to him. That's what worries me. He may fall right off the cliff of having a breakout year last year. He may not continue on the upward trend of improvement, and we might see him score less goals than he's ever scored in his entire career. It's all about who he's playing with, if he stays healthy, and if he continues to work hard and continues to improve. So I don't love or hate Yoel Kiviranta getting signed and staying on that fourth line. We just need to see him continue to produce at the highest level that he possibly can. Parker Kelly, of course, signed a deal recently as well. A lot of potential with him. We saw some action with him during the series against Dallas in the first round. If he can continue to produce at that level, hopefully we can see him helping this bottom six. And then Ivan, despite the fact that he has the best name in the entire league, no question to ask. A first and last name that are exactly this. It's electric. Ivan, are you kidding me? But as cool as his name is, his hockey ability and his production needs to live up to his name. And I'm just not sure if he's there yet. He spent the majority of last season with the Colorado Eagles playing at the AHL level, and he did well with the Eagles, but I just don't know if that is going to help with the Avs. So the bottom six is what really concerns me. Top six, of course, is going to be absolutely electric to watch, but the bottom six, are they going to be able to produce? Are they going to be able to live up to what the Avs are trying to do on a very high level of production? Taking a quick peek at the power play unit. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, just take a second to observe what you're looking at on your screen. What an electric power play unit. Just absolutely insane. Gabe Landeskog, Marty Necas, Arturi Lehkonen, Nathan MacKinnon, and Cale Makar. The best defenseman in the league, one of the best forwards in the league, the captain himself coming back from injury, Gabe Landeskog, Marty Necas, the Rantanen replacement who had such a strong season, so good on the power play last year, and then of course Arturi Lehkonen, who continues to be such a strong asset for the Avs. Oh my gosh, this power play is going to be so efficient. And I think that with that new coach, that new assistant coach and new power play coach that the Avs have acquired, they're going to implement a really strong puck-heavy movement style power play where they're snapping it around and really staying dominant on not just their positioning and their rotation on the power play, but actually scoring and getting that puck moving around amongst these five insane players. So hopefully the power play is something that we see a lot of improvement for this season as well. Quick glance at the D pairings as well. Devon Toews and Cale Makar. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Best D pairing in the league. Absolutely fires me up. Love these two so much. Cale Makar, best defenseman in the league, reigning Norris Trophy winner. And Devon Toews, obviously he's a little bit older, but he's got that leadership aspect to him. He's got a rocket of a wrist shot that he shoots from the top of the blue line as a defenseman. I am just so excited to see them continue to work as, like I said, the best D pairing in the league. And then on that second D pairing, Sam Girard and Josh Manson. Love Josh Manson. He's a very strong, heavy-hitting, great defenseman. Sam Girard, on the other hand, he has that question mark for me on the defensive side as well. I don't love his style of play, and in terms of what the Avs are trying to do defensively. You know, I've heard this take a lot recently, and I really agree with it. I think that in this day and age of the NHL, coaches and GMs are seeking those types of defensemen who don't hit as hard and who are more lengthy and athletic and play more of like an offensive style defense. Obviously we have Cale Makar, who is like that. Cale Makar's wicked on defense. He does ridiculously good jobs on the forecheck and the back check, and he can hit people as well. He's got some size to him. But, you know, Cale Makar has an asterisk on him because he's so offensively strong, but he also has that defensive aspect to his game tied to him as a defenseman. Sam Girard doesn't do as much of the defensive work. He does well on the back check, but he isn't able to hit as hard. He isn't able to swarm that defensive area when we are on defense on the other end of the ice. It has that question mark for me. I don't know if Sam Girard is going to continue to be as strong of a player as we want him to be as far as what the Avs are trying to do. And then that bottom three pairing for defense, I am actually a huge fan of Malinsky and Brent Burns together, a absolute veteran for the Avs who's now joining the team on a one-year deal. Brent Burns, oh my gosh, playing him alongside Sam Malinsky, who's just now getting his footing in the league. He played with the Eagles. He had his first NHL goal a few years back. He's really starting to finally find his breakout potential. Put him on a deep pairing with a guy who's played over 1,000 games in the league. This is an absolutely perfect pairing in my opinion. And obviously too, these lines, these deep pairings are going to get jumbled up a little bit, and that's something to consider as well. And then just a quick glance at the penalty kill. Ross Colton, Brock Nelson, and Val Nichushkin. Those are three big bodies right there on the top of the penalty kill. They're going to be able to deal with strong power plays and take efficient jobs at getting power plays and penalty kills taken care of. And then, of course, Brent Burns, absolutely electric size, big defensive player as well. He's going to be a massive asset to that penalty kill as well. So we don't have time to glance at kind of the cap space and what these players are making, but the main point of this episode was to really just break down these lines and talk about everything going on with the roster and what this roster is going to be able to do. One more quick little fun note before we wrap things up. This coming season, the Avs are celebrating their 30th anniversary. 30 years ago, I think it was just a few days ago, potentially yesterday, August 11th, but 30 years ago, the Quebec Nordiques transferred to Colorado. They became the Colorado Avalanche, and since then, we have seen so much amazing history. Joe Sakic led the team to their first 2 Stanley Cup championships, and then we've seen absolute legends come in and out of this program. Eric Johnson, traded after being drafted by the St. Louis Blues, comes here, has an amazing tenure with this program. Nathan MacKinnon, first overall pick, helped storm this team to a Stanley Cup. Cale Makar, selected top 10 overall in his draft class, has been the best defenseman in the league. There's just so much history around this team, and it's so awesome that they're celebrating 30 years of Colorado Avalanche hockey. And this is the 30th anniversary logo that the Avs have unveiled for this coming season. I've heard a lot of different takes online. I've heard some people complain that they don't like it. I've heard some people say that they love it. Personally, in my opinion, I am a big fan. I think this is really strong logo. I'm guessing that this is going to be plastered on their jersey somewhere, but I just love how it's got the logo in front of it. Obviously, what's going to be on the jersey obviously won't have the logo, but you know, you've got that gray, you've got that nice royal blue that, you know, really complements the Avs. Kind of in the background of the logo, you've got the 3 X's to represent 30 years in Roman numerals. And then my favorite touch on the bottom, you see in the bottom of those 3 X's, 22, 01, and 96. The 3 years that we hoisted Lord Stanley a mile high, our 3 franchise Stanley Cups. Just really cool to see that little piece of history implemented into that logo. I am a big fan, and I'm so excited to see, you know, another season of Avs hockey and just to celebrate 30 years of the best franchise in the NHL. So that's kind of everything that we're talking about here today on Avs Digest. Lot to consider going into this season. Just to kind of sum things up, like we talked about, like I've mentioned already, the top 6 dialed in. The bottom 6, a lot of question marks, a lot of shakiness, and I'm nervous, and I'm wondering if it's going to be enough. The Avs have a little bit of cap space left, and there's nothing stopping them from making some big trades throughout the rest of the offseason and into the start of the season, all the way up to that trade deadline as well. So we'll see, you know, what Chris MacFarland, Joe Sakic, and the team tries to do as they try to chase their 4th franchise Stanley Cup in a cup or bust mentality.